All right, guys, joining me at this time is an interview I've been super excited to talk to you guys about. I've known about this fight since he verbally agreed to do it. Kenney is going to be stepping up this weekend, taking on one of the bantamweight goats, guys. Dominic Cruz is his opponent this week. Super excited for this matchup, Casey. The first time you told me about it, man, you were like, "Hey, are we done recording?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He was like, "I got something to tell you. You can't talk about it." He's like, "I just verbally agreed to fight Cruz, man." I was fucking so pumped for you at that moment. I can only imagine what you were going through. What was it like when you got that phone call from the UFC and they're saying, "Hey, we're thinking Dominic Cruz"?
I mean, it was a pretty surreal moment, man. I'm still, I think, trying to process it all. But, I called the coaches and everything and kind of told them who it was. And I knew a big fight was coming, but, it was good to see Dominic Cruz's name, man. That's exactly why I got into this sport, is fight guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you look at that 135-pound division, it's hard to talk about the division without talking about Dominic Cruz. Right now, I believe he's like ranked 13th. You can't even put that into fruition. The guy is done so much in this division, and you can tell he has no ring rust. It's weird situations. I really feel like the feather has to be put into your cap as well, though. If you look at the situation, and obviously the UFC has tons of faith in you. They put you up against someone who they have great consideration for, but obviously they feel like you're ready for this test.
Yeah, exactly. Everything I've done leading up to this, especially 2020, put me in this position to, get these fights, get these big fights. And, like you said, they're putting a little bit of trust in me, giving me this fight too. Well, I should say, rewarding me with earning this fight and, looking to capitalize on it.
Let's talk about your 2020 real quick, man. You went in there, you smoker like we talked about. You went in there and just dropped some of the nastiest kicks I've ever seen on LA Tongheli's body. And then you went out there and you beat Nathaniel Wood, a hard puzzle for a lot of people who have not been able to figure it out. The huge wave of momentum that you have to be riding into after knowing that Dominic's been, knocked out twice in a row. Does that make you feel like on Saturday night? Obviously, you're the more active guy, but do you feel like you're going to be the guy pushing the pace, really looking for the fight?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. That's what I do as a fighter. I'm pushing the pace. I'm coming out to fight your ass, from the beginning bell. I think, like you said, Dominic doesn't really believe in ring rust, so I'm not expecting any ring rust from him. For me, I think this 2020 was the perfect year to have a matchup early, a matchup like this early in 2021. What I mean by that is, I believe that I'm my best when I'm active and I'm putting on good performances and I'm rolling with the momentum. And, what a better way to jump into a fight like this with the momentum that I had from 2020. So I think that's a huge part and, my confidence in what I'm bringing to the table. But like you said, I don't count anybody else out for not being active because, everyone's got a little bit different stuff.
Yeah, you beat Dominic Cruz, though. You're right in there. You could jump easily right into the top 10 of this bantamweight division, a very stacked bantamweight division. Obviously, the title is on the line later on. Petr Yan, Aljamain Sterling, are you, after you get done with Dominic, going to have your eyes on that matchup?
Yeah, definitely. When I originally got done at Fight Island, the last one, it was like, okay, when do you want to fight again? And my first date was December 12th, which was when they were originally booked. That fight didn't go through, neither did my fight for December, but we got rebooked and just so happened to be, on the same card as them. So I never really wanted to be on a specific card more than the bantamweight title, after the Fight Island stuff. So I was trying for it in December, and then everything worked out to where I am on it. Definitely got my eyes on both of them. I think there's a few guys in between, getting to the top, but start looking now.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to put this into perspective for people to understand. You aren't looking at him as the bantamweight GOAT. You are just looking at him as the guy across from you. You don't really, obviously what he's done is amazing, but you don't give him the respect that he not deserves. You don't give him too much respect. A lot of guys, when they face legends like Dominic Cruz, they respect them way too much. And I feel like you have the mindset to look past all of that and just have him be the guy standing across from you on Saturday night.
Right, exactly. Like you said, you can't take away anything he's done. He's one of the greatest. But the guy standing next to me, or standing across from me on Saturday night, is just another guy in my way, just like
He's trying to
anybody
take
else.
half your paycheck, bro.
Right, he's trying to take out my paycheck, trying to take everything I worked for. Right,
Yeah.
so he's another guy, standing there across from me, just like any other fight. But like you said, you can't take away with what he's done, but that's why this one's going to be just as sweet, or I should say, the sweetest of all, probably.
Yeah, obviously, moments. This is the biggest fight that you've had in your career. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've fought a handful of guys that can match his skills
Hmm.
hand for hand, but as far as him as a competitor, what he's accomplished in this sport,
His legacy.
100 his legacy, exactly 100% the biggest fight of my career.
But there's really this catapults you. Getting past Dominic Cruz is just such a turning point in your career. I feel like once you do that, it's all eyes better be watching out because Casey Kenny's going to be on a rise in that bantamweight division.
Yeah, exactly, man. If you know the bantamweight division, hopefully you're gonna know Casey Kenny's name soon. And if you don't, you better be paying attention.
You better be paying attention. The thing about you too is you're striking. You keep such a high level pace that it kind of people don't really realize that you're such a high level wrestler as well.
Right. You know, I finally got to showcase my striking. I came in my first three fights like, I'm a complete mixed martial artist, but
Hmm.
Ray Borg, Manny Bermudez, and Merab Dvalishvili. Like, I don't think you can get three more heavier grappling guys in
Yes.
any division. So took my punches, rolled with them. Did what I had to do, but I guess Smoka I finished with the submission as well, but we were chalking it up on the feet there. So
Yeah.
last three I've got to kind of show what I can do on my feet as well. So I feel like I've got to showcase a little bit of everything.
Without going too deep into it, what is your guys' game plan for Saturday night for Dominic?
I think patience is going to be my biggest thing in this fight.
Hmm.
Like skill for skill. You know, we all got punches, kicks, submissions that can take the other one out at any day. Um, one being in that moment and capitalizing, and two, just being a little bit more patient than I have in other fights. Dom does well when you're chasing him and missing, and you keep chasing, you keep swinging. I'm a little more patient than I have been. Then, I think it's gonna be pretty good for me.
This is going to be your seventh UFC fight. What have you taken from this whole ride?
Man, it's all a learning experience. It's all building confidence, and especially like the Fight Island stuff with the trip and the times and all kinds of weird things. Those are all things that I take and put in my little toolboxes or my confidence box. And I just kept building and building, and man, it's where we all everything's led up to this moment.
Speaking of this moment, who's going to be in your corner for Saturday?
So I got the normal three. I got Chris Carriasso, Nicholas Hulk, and then John Crouch as well.
Power team right there, just
Power
going in
team,
there,
man. I got my team together.
ready to go to war on every Saturday night. Dominic
Yep.
Cruz is just the one who's unfortunately going to get it this Saturday.
Yep, exactly.
How was training camp for you?
It was good, man. It was a long, I had a full camp, full
Yeah.
everything. So I've known
Yeah,
about it
shit,
for a
we
long
talked about this
time.
for what, 6, 7 weeks ago?
Yeah, exactly. I think I even knew like December, early December, before Christmas. I knew I was going to fight Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
So um, I was already in pretty good shape, so I kind of just started, kept training like I normally would, and then pretty much after the first of the year, I started, really stepping it up. And that way I wouldn't have, too long of a camp. But because I'm always in the gym, always staying pretty ready. So I only need a couple weeks to get really ready for a fight. But this one, I did everything right, and here we are.
Were you guys able to bring anyone in to kind of mimic his style?
No, I didn't really have to bring anyone in. I had a handful of guys that could do the best Dominic Cruz impersonation, if possible. I was training with O'Malley a lot at the lab.
Hmm.
This guy Ed West. I don't know if you know who Ed West is. He used to fight back in Bellator. Fought around a lot. Got a veteran of the sport, and he does pretty good movement with his feet as well. I was trained with him at Rise in Tucson. Of course, all the killers over at the lab. We got Mario and Kyler who are on the card, and got some work in with Benson. But the main thing I focused on this camp was obviously paying attention to a little bit what he does, but mostly focusing on myself, sharpening everything, and then get in there and trust my abilities, trust my fight IQ, trust my eyes to see everything, and go from there.
What do you feel like Dominic Cruz brings to the table on Saturday night?
I think what he brings to the table is his pace, making guys miss, capitalizing on guys getting frustrated with his style. And I think, that's one of his only ways to beat me. And, obviously anything can happen, but for him just to go outstrike me or straight up out grapple me is, not looking so hot for him on paper or in my mind. So I think he's got to use some of those veteran tricks, try to frustrate me, try to make me miss, and go from there.
What do you think some of those things he's going to do to try to frustrate you? Do you think it's going to be something like obviously with his footwork? Do you think he's just going to try to dance around you and frustrate you that way?
Yeah, exactly. I think just his style in general, that's kind of how he's
chaotic.
It's chaotic, right? It's chaotic.
Unexpected, you know what I mean? He can come from anywhere.
Exactly. And that frustrates people. Not that he's purposely trying to go out there and frustrate people, but it's just what happens when, he's not doing the normal high level stuff that you're used to. And, but I think I'm ready for that. And we'll see.
Once you put him on his back foot, it's a different Dominic Cruz. That's the one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. Yes, Dominic is very good at doing these moving around, but when the people who beat him, like with Cejudo just pushed forward and didn't respect his moving around. You can dance around all you want, but if I'm in your face every time you move, it's hard for you to do that dancing around. Garbrandt was able to Dominic Cruz. He was able to dance around Dominic. So as long as you don't let Dominic play his game, it's easy to neutralize his skills, especially at this point in his career.
Right, exactly. And, you pretty much nailed it there. I think, there we go. I think taking a little bit from both of those fights, the pressure of Cejudo, the kicks, the counter punching, the patience of Garbrandt, I put a little bit of both of those in there, and it's going to be a long night for Cruz. And, just the way Garbrandt and the way Cejudo, won the fight, I think I can do those things just as good or if not better than both of them.
He's never fought in the Apex. He hasn't fought in the smaller cage. Apex has a smaller cage. Are you going to plan on using that to your advantage?
If it really doesn't matter to me, but if I'm going to take, if there's a smaller cage in front of me and I'm fighting Dominic Cruz, like, so be it. I think that's an advantage for me. Not thinking too much on it. Yeah, exactly. Not thinking too much on it, but just facts. A little smaller area, can't dance around as much. So I think putting him against the cage, putting some pressure on him, that's going to be a little bit easier in the smaller one.
Now, all fighters, they envision this fight millions and millions of times in their head before they ever even step in the cage. How have you envisaged this finish?
Man, I go out there, I kick him a few times, land my hands, and we go home.
Quick and easy on our way back.
Quick and easy, man. That's how I like to envision them all.
Any plans after the fight?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to stay here in Vegas. I got friends and family going to probably be here in Vegas for the fight, not at the fight, but somewhere close by. Yeah. And then I'm actually going to be staying till the following week. I'm going to corner Courtney Casey in her fight.
Oh, nice.
On the 13th. Yeah, so I'm here in Vegas for a couple weeks. I'll have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then we'll check back into fight week on Tuesday next week.
It'll be you, Jakar, and who else?
I want to say Alan, one of the boxing coaches.
Okay.
Yeah, nice, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I kind of came in last minute for someone else that got booked for a fight same day type of thing. So I was like, hey, I'm there. I'm down.
Right. How do you like, obviously throwing on that other ball cap and being obviously a coach or, someone in the corner?
I love it, man. I taught up until my UFC career. I pretty much taught like our kids program. I was teaching private lessons, doing the whole thing. Enjoy that. I was always in the corner with, Chris and all our amateur guys and everything at Rise. So I definitely see a future in that after fighting. Like I get almost the same excitement from, cornering and stuff as I do the fight, not quite as intense as actually fighting, but
Yeah.
it feels
You get
some of
those
the
same
same
jitters.
emptiness. Yeah, some of the same jitters, some of the same fulfillment, you get from coaching and cornering. And I like helping other people as well.
So obviously, like some people that I've interviewed, I do consider my friend you being one of them. I get like this nervous feeling when you guys are about to fight. I'm
Right.
guessing that's the same thing you deal with.
Yeah, exactly. If I don't know you, I'm a fight fan, I'm watching, but as soon as maybe I even just spoke to you a couple times, it's a little bit more intense of a
Yeah.
fight, and then you go into like, close friends and stuff, man. It's palms are sweaty, you're pacing back and forth, you're screaming at the TV, like I wish they could just hear me.
Dude, I've seen you in Jakar at Bellator events
Yeah.
multiple times, just like screaming your heads off for your teammates, just always there supporting your guys. Henry Corrales was the one that in
Yep,
particular.
yep, I do
But
remember
that's
that.
one thing that you guys for sure are always on the go
Right.
out for your teammates. You know what I mean? And I love that about your guys' gym and your camaraderie that you guys have, your friendship. It shows that you guys are you're in this much further than fighting.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Fights are good, but the people you meet along the way, the relationships you meet with all this stuff, that's really the cool part about all this. Getting paid, beating people up, love that. But friends, memories, you can take that stuff to the grave with you.
Now, you talked about coaching after the fact. Where is that going to be taking place? Are you going to be staying in Arizona long term, or maybe back home in Indiana?
I haven't quite thought about that. I haven't thought about life after fighting yet, but we'll see. We'll see where it takes me, man. But both of those places, Indiana was home. Now Arizona's home, so that's a pretty good place to start.
Right. Yeah, no, Arizona, man. You train some killers out there. Listen, if guys can handle this heat, they can handle some shit.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Working out in the heat and the summer and stuff, you're out doing that. You're building some toughness.
Dude, we train in like a warehouse, no AC. I love it. But like the mats, when you put your foot on the mat, it's like 130 degrees. Like you will get done with like blisters, but you still show up the next day. You're like, fuck it, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about martial arts, man. You will legitimately be like dead the night before and be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But the next day comes around, you're 5 o'clock, you're like, hey, I'm feeling all right. Let's go to class.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's all part of it, little going to the jiu-jitsu class, doing all that, or making weight and actually doing the real thing. It's
Right.
all little bits and pieces of the same thing.
Now, obviously, I'm not too concerned about weight, but I'm gonna ask you the question: how's the weight?
It's good, man. I'm right where I should be. I'm sitting 10, 12 over. Uh,
Consummate professional when it comes to making weight.
yeah, man. Bantamweight I moved up, and it was kind of easy at first. It's still
Yeah, but
super
you're
manageable.
definitely filling into that division. You can tell you're getting a
Right.
lot thicker.
Yeah, and my last three fights, I walked into the octagon 10 pounds bigger than I did my first three UFC fights.
Oh,
So
nice.
especially after the Marab one, it was like,
Yeah,
I think I need that extra 5-10 pounds. So got to
he does
work.
that to a lot of people.
Yeah, I got to work, and part of it was just time too, not cutting down to 125. It's been 2 years now since I made that weight, and I think it just took a little bit of time, a little bit of work to get that weight back on. But now got a little bit of a weight cut, but it's still not as brutal as the 25 cut I used to make.
What were you walking around at when you fought at 25?
Um, I could about
Okay.
50, 52. Sometimes I get up to like 55 if I was real heavy, but now I hit 60, and
But
that's
you
like
were a
a nice.
big flyweight.
Yeah, I was big, man. I was big, and in camp, I'd probably sit around like 45, but I was lean. I was malnourished and the whole nine
Bro, who's
yards.
having a race car track outside?
I know. I just heard that, man. It's
Bro,
Vegas. We're close to the
Izzy just
strip.
rolled up to the casino.
I heard that too.
Yeah, but I really I feel like weight cutting for you, you've been doing it your whole life, man. It's like second nature almost.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I started cutting weight when I was 10 years old. Um, and I don't know if, oh, I definitely wasn't doing it right back in the day. It was all water management, you know, the diet and all that stuff. I didn't know shit about any of it. Which was a little bit different making weight and wrestling and stuff. You know, like wrestling was every weekend. A fight is, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a year if you're busy making weight. So it's a little bit different, you know, way of making weight, but sucking the water out of your body is the same stuff.
We are what? Uh 18 days away from your 30th birthday.
Yeah,
Any celebration?
man. I don't know yet. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something, but I don't have anything planned. I was gonna get through this fight, see how things go, and then we'll see what happens. I got in my coach's birthday's coming up not too long after in May, so I think we may do something like April, kind of mid birthday bash type thing. Got another friend turning 30 from Indiana in April, so maybe I'll put together a couple friends thing and celebrate multiple birthdays.
Dirty 30s everywhere.
Right, exactly, man.
This a ride for you, man. It's been crazy. You have what, 19 professional? No. Yeah, 19 professional fights
Yep.
so far.
It's number
If
20.
you could look back at young Casey, what would you tell him?
Man, I would tell him it's gonna be a long ride, my friend. It's gonna be a little bit longer than you expect. You know, when I started this, I thought I'll be in the UFC a couple years, no problem. Obviously, never gave up on it, but you know, it took a little bit longer than I planned.
Definitely. Here we are, a couple nights before your biggest matchup that you've had in your entire career. Dominic Cruz, man, GOAT. I'm excited for this fight. I really feel like it catapults your career as soon as you beat Dominic on Saturday. I appreciate you taking time out of your fight career to speak with me. You've done it for every single one of your fights, man. I've been here since the beginning. I plan on being here after this fight. We're gonna take this all the way to the title fight, man. We're gonna take that bantamweight strap. 135-pound titles coming back to Arizona around Casey Kenney's waist, and I can't wait to watch it, man.
Hey, thanks, man. Always a pleasure. You know, I'm always down. I'm always down for a good conversation, man. Like you said, you've always been there, so it's always good talking to you.
I
And I like
appreciate you.
that. We'll keep it rolling until we get that belt, and then still keep it rolling.
No, for sure, man. I will be impatiently watching this fight on the edge of my seat with those sweaty palms, watching you do your thing. I can't wait to watch you do it, man. You're going to go in there and shock the world.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's put on a show, man. That's what I always do.
Exactly, man. You have a good night. Thank you for taking time out of your busy week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good, man. Have a good night.
You too.